We're here at the 2024 National and the energy is high. And I'm about to bring in two of the guys who are most responsible for the growth of the sports card hobby over the last year. Michael Rubin, the founder of Fanatics, and Mike Mahan, the CEO of Fanatics Collectibles, are going to sit down with me. Of course, they run Topps. And it's very interesting hearing about the progression of Topps over the last year and what's in store for the future as Topps expands into NFL cards and NBA cards right around the corner, as they're about to launch Fanatics Fest. And there's a lot of other innovation forthcoming. We're going to get a sneak preview, maybe break a little bit of news on today's episode. So get ready to welcome Michael Rubin and Mike Mahan from Fanatics. Michael and Mike, welcome to the National. Thank you guys for taking a little bit of time. What has this been like so far for you, all this energy around us?
Well, the energy is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't not come here and just have the contagious feeling of such excitement, passion, enthusiasm for the hobby. You know, you look around here, there's more than 100,000 incredibly excited collectors. And so I love that. It drives us. At the same time, makes you think, what can you do better? How do you innovate more?
I mean, yeah, it's almost like the hobby has almost outgrown even like this. Like it's wild.
It hasn't almost outgrown it.
Yeah, it's outgrown this.
It outgrew it.
I'm trying to be kind.
I mean, last year, Mike said we just needed air conditioning and Wi-Fi. We mostly got air conditioning, but I'm looking forward to having cell reception again.
Yeah, there's no Wi-Fi.
The only good thing is no one's bothering me.
Right, that's true, that's true.
You can focus just on cards.
Absolutely. Well, I want to ask you about Topps and the card market and all those types of things, but I got to start. Did I really see photos of the two of you playing beach football with Tom Brady and CJ Stroud as the two quarterbacks? That looked incredible.
Well, it was incredible for CJ and his squad because they realized they were playing Tom Brady, and I'd say they recognized they had a chance to, you know, DeMar Hamlin get a pick off Tommy, and CJ to get his victory against Tommy. So I said this a couple of days ago, but Tom's big mistake was he picked me first, and that's where Tom Brady, you know, you realize that a quarterback can't also catch at the same time.
Yeah.
And so he's probably not trying to run a touchdown and touch football. But we did have a good time. Mike added a lot more value than I did, but to be honest, it probably wasn't enough.
What do you go for, like 7, 8 touchdowns?
I'm already training for the next one. Let's put it that way.
All right, there we go. Awesome. Well, I want to ask you about the card world this year. So there's been a lot that's happened this year. Topps, you guys have been putting out all kinds of new products and all kinds of innovations are happening. What's gone well this year, and what could have gone better, do you think?
Well, I think first and foremost, I think our products are being well received.
Yes.
In large part, right?
Yeah.
If you look at the aftermarket performance, you look at customer sentiment, enthusiasm, I think our product team has really hit the mark this year. I think the marketing's gone very well. I think our commercial strategy of going direct to hobby shops and to breakers, I think that has been very much appreciated. You go around the room here and the gratitude, thank you for shipping to me directly so that I can earn that profit as opposed to have to paying a markup for a distributor. I can either invest that back into my store or my breaking operation or deliver that to the customer. That sort of outpouring of gratitude and acknowledgement, I think across the board has been a winning formula. I think things to improve, I think, look, we're always trying to get better. There's always little things we can do around product, around our communications, around our marketing. There's things that we can improve. And then also our operations, right? I think we've done a great job of getting higher quality products out. We're getting our big products out on time, but there's still delays. There's still things that come out late. And we're making up for years of chronic underinvestment in infrastructure and technology and in operations. You combine that with an explosion of growth in the hobby and more products than ever before. Yep. And there's a lot of work to do. There's no easy answers there, but we are investing time, we're investing capital, we are investing resources and mind share to really have the modern version of operations. So some things are a work in progress, some things are going really well, but we're not taking our eye off the ball on any of it.
Yeah. One of the challenges I've heard from some collectors this year is they're concerned about the rising price of products. And I know it's got to be a hard balancing act because, as you said, you're investing in marketing, you're investing in innovation. There's way more investment going into this than ever before, and it's growing the hobby. But at the same time, you know, that some of that's got to be recovered somehow, right? How do you balance between trying to keep the prices affordable for collectors, but being able to invest in all of these other things?
So first and foremost, I'd say, I think from a Topps perspective, we have some of the most accessible prices in the industry, right? You compare baseball, for example, to basketball or football and the accessibility of that pricing. You compare Chrome and Prism, for example, it's not close, right? So I think that's
you're 100% right.
Number two, the immutable laws of supply and demand apply here.
Right.
And we can push out any price we want, but ultimately the market is going to dictate how valuable they think that product is, and they're going to dictate the price. And we've seen that time and time again. We put out a product for X price, and if it moves generally up, occasionally a product's overpriced and it moves down, but the market responds very quickly with what they believe the price should be, and that ends up being the prevailing price quickly. So we're trying to make the best products we possibly can. We're very conscious of that affordable, accessible price point. We're putting retail product in hobby stores to make sure that affordable first purchase or early purchase, particularly for young kids, is there and available and accessible. Product segmentation to make sure that we do focus on that affordable price point and produce the products that aren't meant to have that massive run up or increase in value. So it's something that we are focused on. It's something that we want to make sure that we address, but at the end of the day, there's going to be different prices for different consumers across the board.
Sure. And Mike, you were talking about some of the marketing earlier that's been done this year. Michael, the Topps commercial I just saw, this incredible commercial in the Olympics this year. This is, I think, the first time there's ever been kind of a brand awareness national commercial for trading cards. What was the inspiration behind doing this?
Look, I think we feel like the hobby and the collectibles market overall has had virtually no marketing. And I think we think there are so many great ways to, you know, kind of open this hobby up to a larger audience. A lot of it's one-to-one and you just kind of build community, but others of it is getting out there with incredible content and getting out there in front of different sports fans. So we're going to keep pushing the envelope there. We're going to keep testing things. I can tell the commercial that we put out yesterday, the reaction's been spectacular. You were talking about pricing before. I think the biggest thing that's actually driving pricing, it's not us. I think it's the success of the products. You build better product, there's more demand.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm wearing a Nike shoe. If Nike makes a great shoe, that shoe sells for more in the secondary market. I don't think anyone's going to say this, hey, Mike, make shittier products, make worse products. We want to make the best products we can make. Yeah. We want to make the best marketing we can make. And by the way, the better we do, that drives price. And then the question is, you don't want to, and then you got to balance supply and demand. It is a complicated balancing act, but we are, as Mike said, and so conscious about that. But I think from a marketing perspective, we're doing so many things, whether it was the MVP buyback program that Mike and his team, you know, kind of created last year that's been extraordinarily successful, whether it's been, you know, Brady Day, whether it's been Rip Night that we had in your stores, you know, so many stores, you know, I think we had hundreds of stores throughout the country. I mean, we want the collectibles business to market like any other consumer products company. This was not a marketed space before, and so I think, you know, we haven't even scratched the surface for what we're going to do from a marketing perspective.
Yeah, well, it's exciting. I'm excited to see where it's going to go. And speaking of expansion of products, I know Topps football cards are just around the corner. You could started to do some pre-ordering recently on the kind of the mixer product with all the different Topps brands. Basketball, I think, is still coming soon. Is that still the plan?
End of next month, yep.
What can you tell me about the football and the basketball products and what collectors should anticipate there?
Well, I think you're going to see a very good start for football and basketball. I mean, I think everybody knows the exclusive deals we have with some of the top basketball stars, including Victor Wembanyama, the top football stars, including CJ Stroud. And those autographs are going to be in those products and in the products that we have coming up. And so there's a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of excitement. Our composite products sold out in 20 minutes online. I mean, it was very, very quick. People are very excited about Chrome basketball. So there's a lot of good stuff to come, and we're really excited about it.
Yeah, good. Well, it seems like you're hinting that there might be like some, particular Easter egg cards or like cool things to feature leading up to the release of that. One thing that I've noticed with, I think, the marketing strategy this year is it seems like every product has some really cool chase cards that are kind of the information about those is kind of being released right up to the start of the product, and that gets everybody really excited.
I mean, just so you know, Mike doesn't even tell me when he's got secrets, so I find out. You just see it on Instagram. I find out like I do, right? Same thing. Yeah.
You can't. Otherwise, it's like telling the public.
Is there? And I don't want you to give away the secrets, but are there any innovations and products the second half of this year that collectors can look forward to? You've had some big hits over the last year, with, you mentioned MLB debut patches and the Brady cards and the first moment cards and all these types of things. Is something else coming that people can get excited about?
So,
Mike,
yes.
give him one secret. Give him one secret. Give him
I'm gonna
work with Geoff. Give him something.
I'm immune to peer pressure.
I like this. I like this.
I'm immune to peer pressure.
I got you.
Thank you.
Here's what I will tell you. Right now, the world of collecting is largely about the rookies, right? You want the next big thing. I think the trading card business generally has never really been associated with achievement and celebration, these big events that happen in sports. We are going to start to celebrate milestones and achievements, I think, in some pretty special ways. So stay tuned for that.
Okay.
That's going to be fun.
By the way, in ways that nobody else could do.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know what that means, but I'm excited for it. Hopefully we'll find out more later this year.
You're going to like it.
Okay, that sounds really, really great. So you guys, obviously we're here at the National. Tons of collectors, unbelievable amount of excitement. You have your own big event that's just around the corner, Fanatics Fest New York City, in a few weeks' time. How are you feeling about this? What's it going to be like? What is the vision for this?
Look, in no way, shape, or form do we want to take away from anything the National does, because the National is an incredible institution, okay? And we have so much respect, for the passion that exists here. What we want to do is really create a sports festival. And collecting is a part of it, but it's not the only part of it. Each of the leagues are going to come out. You're going to be able to do different, athletic challenges at each of the leagues, whether it's at the UFC where you can see how hard you can punch, or whether it's at WWE where you can kind of come out to the, the way one of the WWE stars would come out, whether it's do the 40-yard dash, or I could do the baseball challenge again, which we know I do very poorly in, okay? So you have things like that. You'll see athletes more, I think, throughout the show. You'll see us doing stunts. I mean, some of the biggest people in social media are coming. My friend Aiden Ross just said yesterday, he announced he was coming to Fanatics Fest to stream live for 3 days. He's one of the biggest streamers in the world. My guy Drewski's coming. He's going to be streaming from there some of the time. So it's just like Atlanta guy, by the way. I'm coming to his festival in, I think it's September 7th. I'll be in Atlanta.
Awesome.
We need all the Cards HQ customers in Atlanta coming out to Drewski's festival. It's going to be amazing. But I think what we want to do is just create a sports festival, something that any sports fan can have a great time at, and then have that be replicated. The thing I love about Comic-Con, it started in San Diego and then it took place at different places in the world. And why can't you have Fanatics Fest at different places in the world? Yeah. We're going to lose money on Fanatics Fest. It's purely marketing. Like, my goal for Fanatics Fest is everyone who comes through there is like, I had the greatest freaking time in the planet. Yeah. That's what I want someone to say at Fanatics Fest. So I think it's going to be different. It's also going to be a much higher end experience. I mean, this is great. But there's a lot that, this setup's different than what I remember 40 years ago, but there's a lot about the National when you walk through it. Hasn't changed a lot in 40 years. And, I know some people would say, well, it's the hobby, don't let it change. But guess what? Things do change, and we got to innovate. We got to innovate marketing. We got to innovate product. We got to innovate manufacturing. We got to innovate. So we're going to push some boundaries.
Yeah, good. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting up to New York and checking it out. Another brand that you guys have.
By the way, I'll just give you one example.
Sure.
Even I said to our PR guy who walked me over here today, I said, how much press is at the National? They said only collectibles press.
Yeah.
And a guy from ESPN who came with us.
Yeah.
I said, how much press are we going to have at Fanatics Fest? He said 200 people.
Yeah.
Okay? So you're talking about having like 5 or 10 press here. That doesn't really help grow the hobby.
Right.
You have a bunch of people in collectibles telling the collectible story.
Right.
Well, how about if Fanatics brings all of the sports press in the world, and it's like a Super Bowl event, and that's how much press you have that comes to Fanatics Fest. That's just the way we think, because we want to bring more exposure to all the things that we're doing.
Yeah. And I have seen more stories about collectibles this year make their way onto the homepage of ESPN.com.
And that's Fanatics push. And by the way, here you're like Stephen A. Smith. But at Fanatics Fest, Stephen A. Smith will be there. And, you know, the Pivot will be there. And Michael Strahan will be there. There'll be so many of the best journalists in the world. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Including Geoff Wilson.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's great. I'm super excited for that. That's going to be awesome. I want to talk about Fanatic Collect, because you guys bought PWCC a little bit over a year ago now, and just recently made the change, you know, rebranded right at this show, essentially right before the show officially, is Fanatic Collect. I know, Michael, when you first got the licenses, got involved in this whole thing, you talked about the opportunity to create an ecosystem for collectors, which really hasn't existed. It's always been a bit disjointed. You know, you go to one place to buy your cards, you go to another place to grade your cards, you go to, you know, you go Breaker over here, or, you know, Marketplace over here, or Vault over there, and there, you know, is this part of a strategy to continue to kind of create a more connected ecosystem?
Look, I think there's a lot of problems in the ecosystem that need to be solved. And Mike, I think it'd be great if you talk a little bit about your vision for where you think this should go, and, you know, how all these things fit together, because the answer is yes, we need to simplify this for a collector, and I think Fanatics is going to solve that.
Yeah, so our vision and our mantra is quite simple. We prioritize the collector experience above all else. We live in service of the collector. And so where there are collector pain points in the ecosystem, we want to try to be helpful to solve them, right? And today, as Michael said, the experience is disjointed. There's a lot of friction between the time you get a card and the time you grade a card and the time you sell a card, and how you store a card, how you trade a card, and your digital representation of that card. All of those things have some degree of friction or complexity. So we want to bring that all together. And when you buy a card or you break a card, we want you to be able, with the click of a button, to be able to store the card, to be able to grade the card, to be able to trade the card, to be able to sell the card, to be able to ship the card. All of those things should happen instantly. It shouldn't have to go to you, then go to the grading company, then to go to the auction site. I mean, think about the complexity and the challenges associated with all that. We want to bring that together in one place, have a digital management system of your collection, and things that we think are going to be really value added to collectors.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I'm excited to see how it turns out. I agree. There are a lot of friction points, right? A lot of different things. And it's also, there can be a learning curve there for new collectors getting into this space. How do I navigate all these different elements?
I think, generally speaking, we have been focused on, but need to do a better job of continuing to simplify the hobby for young and aspiring collectors, right? Once you're in the hobby, it's great. I mean, look at the enthusiasm and the energy around this room. But bringing people in and making it more intuitive and easy to understand, that's something that we're continuing to work through. But having an app in one place that puts all these things together, that's, you know, especially for young people who grow up in a digital environment, that's going to be a major unlock.
But by the way, it's also for big collectors too. Like, I'll give a shout out to the Deputy Commissioner of Baseball, Noah Garden. I was in his house for the first time about a year ago, and I walked in, and his house looked like a trading card factory because he's that much of a collector. He spends so much money on trading cards, and his wife's screaming at him like, "Babe, get these cards out of our bedroom!" Like, I can't. They're everywhere. Like, you know, every day a box is showing up because he's going to breaks every day, and he's buying cards every day. And like, he needs to be able to buy cards, decide what does he want to put in the marketplace, what does he want to put in storage, what does he want to do with it. It's just so inconvenient for him. It's like, literally, all I heard was his wife giving him a hard time because their house was a mess because he had millions of dollars of cards. I hope he doesn't get robbed now, but he had millions of dollars of cards in his house. We have to simplify that process for him. We need to make that process better for him. It shouldn't be where a collector says, "Hey, I got to buy cards. I got to get them shipped to my house. I got to figure out what to do with them. I got to figure out how to store them." It needs to be easy for a collector. Yeah. It's hard today. It's too hard.
Yeah, I hear you. I agree. Even how cards are identified and named. Like that's always a challenge too. Like, do you have this parallel or that parallel or all these different things? So anything that can be done to make all of that easier and reduce the entry point, I think is going to help get new collectors.
It's coming. Very much top of mind.
Awesome. Good stuff. All right, guys, let's wrap up on this. So much is going to happen in the year ahead. What are you most looking forward to? I want to hear what each of you are most looking forward to in the year ahead when it comes to collectibles.
I'm going to let Mike go first so that I have the more difficult answer.
Well, we have a number of things coming up that I'm really excited about from a product perspective. We have new licenses coming on in the next 19, 20 months, from football to basketball, WWE, Premier League. So we have a lot of work ahead of us, but our best days are firmly in front of us. And we talk about it all the time. I really do think we are just getting started with product innovation and improvement. I think we're just getting started with our marketing efforts. I think our commercial strategy is just getting started. I think our international efforts are just getting started. So the opportunity to lean into that, to take this business to new heights, that's really what I look forward to. I look forward to putting a smile on the face of every single person in this hobby and making it better tomorrow than it is today.
Awesome. Cool.
I think from my perspective, there's such an upside from a marketing perspective. You know, the athletes were not connected to trading cards before Fanatics got involved. I'd say if you talk to most players about trading cards, I'd say 99% of players, there weren't, I think when we entered this business three and a half years ago, we bought Topps 2.5 years ago, I don't think there were, between the 4 US big sports, I don't think there were 20 collectors that I could name. Today, so many more people are collecting cards, and to get the athletes more involved and more connected, you know what, we only started Rip Night 2 Rip Nights ago, and the next one's gonna be September 14th, and you tell me how good was that for your store?
Yeah, it was awesome.
When we did that. And so doing more, I think from a marketing perspective, I think we have so much upside. I think the second thing is, you know, we're now, you know, the quality of cards was pretty awful when we took over for the whole industry. You know, it was like, really had been just underinvested forever. And so the ability to really improve every aspect of how cards are delivered, you know, there's just so much innovation that needs to happen. Whether it's, somebody showed me a card in the show, it was like a $7 million card, and it was in a 25-cent slab, okay? Like, I just don't, I look at this, I'm like, how? Like, I don't understand. It's like, it's devaluing the card. It's not, that slab didn't make the card. And by the way, I'm not saying I'm just saying, like, in general, I'm just giving my reactions. Like, that $7 million card the person showed me didn't seem more valuable, it seemed less valuable because of that. So I just think we need to look at every aspect, and whether we do it ourselves or whether we push the leaders in the industry to do it. It's our responsibility to make sure there's a lot of innovation in this industry. I think this is a great industry. It's a big industry. It's got huge passion. We've got to be more innovative, and we've got to push every boundary to be better at everything we do. So whether it's the rights that we're taking on, whether it's the way we eliminated redemptions for the most part. I mean, we bought Topps 2.5 years ago. They had 75,000 redemptions. It's a much bigger business today, and we have 8,000 today. So we've reduced redemptions by 90% while growing the business materially, okay? Why do you have redemptions? You have redemptions because you're lazy for the most part, okay? We don't want to be lazy. We want to be good. And so we're leveraging those relationships with the athletes. So every aspect of the business, we need to be better, whether it's how you treat your collectors when they call, whether it's how you manufacture product, whether it's how you market product, whether it's, you know, anything you think about, we need to do better. And that's the way we're driven. And that's, you know, our mentality is for the rest of our lives, we're going to improve this in every way, shape, and form we can.
I'm excited for the ride ahead. By the way, about 1 year from now, the 2025 All-Star Game is in Atlanta at the Braves Stadium, which is right next to Cards HQ. I'm just putting it out there.
Here's the good news. We're coming. We're coming in hot. We're going to do a great event with you for sure.
I would love to do that. That's fantastic.
For sure we're doing that.
Guys, Mike, thank you so much for taking the time with us today. Really appreciate having you guys here.
Always great to be with you.
Awesome.
Thanks for having us.
Take care. Thank you.